Hi everyone, thank you for watching this series of my video presentation. This presentation is something that is coming from quite within myself. I had always wanted to do a presentation on this but just didn't know how to get it across. So many things came to mind and it had been a very long day. I'm in fact doing this in the very early morning, more like 3 a.m. And I kept thinking about it because there were some people who said certain things. So basically the comments was some of the comments were, oh, you're not good enough, don't think you'll fit in, our culture is different. So then it got me thinking, for a while. I thought that if I was, like 20 years younger, I would have been very upset. Why does it have to end up that way? So then this brings to today's topic, which is when your best is. Okay, and today this topic is presented by the unqualified Wildy Chia. I'm truly unqualified in all these topics, I'll be very honest. But I'm trying my best. So hence the topic. When your best is. Alright, let's talk about this. Doing your best. When would you do your best? You felt deep for that something. There's a certain idea you had in mind. You thought that you could do it. So you put in all your best and you believe that, you know, something could materialize. If not, it could also be you believe in what you were told. So hence, you're so passionate and zealous about the something. You did all your best. You did whatever you could, you know. And of course, you were good at something, so it was easy to do your best. Whichever it is, at some point in time in your life, you must have done something to your best. But and of course the outcome varies quite a lot. Some would say that your best isn't the best, right? They do not agree that you did your best, and they claim that you could have done better, like compared with someone else, who have been doing this. So the point here is that does it really matter? You know, yes, you did your best. Then the question is that does it really matter? Is it what you truly believed in? We do our best for all things. Like for example, a certain topic, a certain sport. We think that hey, that's what you always believe in. You're zealous. Someone told you about it. You believe in it. You believe it. You have every ability to do your best at it. So yes, you did your best, but for some reason you always fell short of what you got at the end. Now that's exactly what happens in investing. Because in the world of investing, very often hard work may not translate into results, and results may not be commensurate with efforts that were contributed previously. So there is always a disparity between outcome and effort, because the correlation is not direct. It's not like you know like for example preparing for a class test. You can put in lots of hours and you would generally do fine for a class test unless it's an insanely difficult class test. But there is some clear correlation. Another is, you're preparing for, uh, like a driving test, and you can go for hours of driving, and more or less that will improve the odds. You would definitely have a much better chance because through the additional preparation, there is a clear relationship with outcome, right? So certainly you'll see a certain outcome at the end. But that's not true for investing. In fact, the same can be said of corporate work. Now, if you're working as an employee, does your best really translate into greater prospects of promotion and greater pay? The answer is that more often than not, it depends on many other factors. So doesn't mean that you put in a lot of effort, you definitely will get the desired outcome, right? So it brings to mind this point. It wasn't what you do, right? But it just did not turn out right. It's not really what you did. It's not about you. It's just that the outcome for some reason didn't turn out as expected, right? So hence, like even in investing, I often see my friend, he will share with me like what he did. So after he shared with me what he did, I'll always be thinking, like what's wrong with him? Someone else who did the same thing would get a different result. Why? Because of the timing. Timing matters so much. At the right time, Lady Luck is smiling at you. At the wrong time, no matter what you do, the outcome just wouldn't materialize. That's a matter of fact. You know, I come across so many people in my life that you know they can be not as qualified, but whatever they do seems to turn into gold. Anything they touch just turn out to be something else. And then you have the other extreme, where you have people who work very hard, but then they do not get the outcome expected. Why? Right. So I thought for very long, being a lecturer trainer for years, I see many of my students, there were very good, outstanding students, but there were also many of them who did so much preparation, but at the end, they do not get as good a result as they expected. Well, even exams, yes, I did mention just now that effort should correlate with results, but in some cases, some tests have such high degree of randomness that you might be very well prepared, but the outcome just doesn't exactly relate, you see. But generally, there is some relationship. It's just that at times it may not be so apparently the case. Right, left or right. So far too often, there are people who come to me and tell me that, okay, should I do this or do that? Now this is very important, right? Because why do we ask such a question? It's because we hope that if we pick the right choice, the perceived right choice, or the preferred right choice, that should result in the outcome that we expect, the favorable outcome that we expect. But you know what? Schools never really taught the thinking that at times it can be left and right. It doesn't have to be left or right. It can be both, and even at times neither. Right? That's the interesting thing about the life today, and also in the world of investing, where it doesn't have to be left or right. Or in my previous video, it doesn't have to be black or white. It can be black and white. Different shades of gray. So the pursuit towards the ideal answer is going to be going to be met with a lot of disappointment, because it just doesn't make sense at times. In investing, there are more likely outcomes than the actual one outcome that will ultimately materialize. Of course, maybe one or very few of the actual outcomes that will ultimately materialize. So it's not what you do ultimately. It's that you can do whatever that you do, but you know what? The environmental factors are just as relevant. Right? Environmental factors that are especially not controllable by the investor or by yourself. And more importantly, the role of luck. Luck itself defines whether what you anticipate will materialize sooner or later or never, right? And that's a matter of fact, because trying harder doesn't mean that something will occur sooner or more likely. As Buffett had once mentioned, this it was a very meaningful quote from him. He said that having more sex doesn't mean that you get the baby sooner. If you heard of that, that's precisely the point. Right? Doing more doesn't mean that you get a better outcome. In fact, the luck element matters as much, right? And just like in career, if you happen to have a very supportive supervisor, the favorable outcomes will occur much sooner, right, rather than later. Of course, on the other hand, if you have a supervisor that's not very supportive, then the desired outcome in terms of career would materialize much later rather than sooner. Luck does matter a lot, it does really matter, right? Now we can say that you can be well prepared, driven, hardworking, passionate, and whatever it is, any other positive adjective that you can use. But then, you know what? Even Elon Musk said that success is 99% perspiration, 1% inspiration. Yet, you know what? The bottom line is that the role of luck cannot be discounted. You can't say that luck isn't that important. Yes, because however strong or how hard you try, at the end, failing to achieve the outcome may be just because you just don't have the luck, on your side. Opportunity truly is where ability meets timing, right? And where luck also has a hand in the timing factor, right? So without luck, the role of luck, you might not have something that will even happen. I remember that I once watched this very interesting film. That was a very old film. The title of the film is Red Cliff. Red Cliff is based on a Chinese novel, which is The Romance of the Three Kingdoms. In the novel, it says that there was a particular battle where this certain general took advantage of the clouds that were passing by, right? So the clouds obstructed the enemy's vision of what was the actual size of the army, like the opposing army. So, but would the clouds be there if not for like the rule of timing and luck? No, right? So because of the presence of the cloud, it made it possible for the smaller army to have an outstanding advantage because the much larger army wasn't able to spot how many troops were there, in the other opposing army, right? So that was a very interesting fact. But and of course, bringing bringing you all to the more current day situation. Like for example, why is it that some people seem to make it so much earlier to the top ranks of of a company's management? Answer is simple, right? The young man one day was walking down the stairs, saw the big boss, and greeted boss, "How are you?" And next is that that delivered an impression on the boss, and the boss said that, "Okay, yeah, you're my right hand man." Such events do occur, no matter how ridiculous it sounds, but it's a matter of fact, right? You can't discount that. It is not to say that one should pin all hopes on luck and luck alone. A Chinese saying goes like this: 英雄无用武之地. Like, as in, you can be very good at what you do, but if you have no battlefield to fight on, what's with all the good skills? It really doesn't matter at all. If the opportunity does not present, then all preparedness is ultimately irrelevant, right? So, if you all have studied history, Singapore, before the invasion of the Japanese back in the 1940s, so what happened was that the British Army built all the cannons aiming out towards the sea, and you know what? The Japanese troops headed down south from Malaya, and then you know what? The Japanese easily kicked the British Army's butt, because the British Army were very well prepared for an invasion by sea, but the British troops didn't realize that the invasion would be by land, right? So such things do happen, and then while as stupid as it sounds, these are things that actually happen in history. So, but yet you know what? You cannot like not do anything to prepare yourself, because a lack of preparedness also means that even with timing, all things would still be irrelevant. The value of the opportunity is would amount to none, right? So that is like my sharing today. I thought very hard about it. Like, why is it that some things do occur and other events don't seem to occur? Right? If you all have been watching this, observing the stock market, what is the one stock that have been rallying unbelievably, by multifold since like 1 year ago? That's Tesla. Right? Who would have thought that Tesla would be like $2,300, just like a few days ago? No one knew, right? But the fact is that it happened. So could you say that those people bought into Tesla are lucky? God knows, right? Those who bought at $100, are they lucky? $100 multiplied by 20, that's 20 times. So, fact here is that we really cannot discount the role of luck. So, luck does play a very important role, and it very much explains that why is it that some get it earlier and others get it later, right? And why is it that some would have an easier path compared to others? It's not that some are born with a certain impediment, a physical impediment. It's not that. It's just that luck is really what differentiates one from another, right? So that's my sharing for today. I hope that that's useful for you all, to think about, right? The role of luck, especially as an investor. At times, very often, we really have no answer for why a stock has performed so well in a certain way, other than with the one word luck. There is really no other better answer, other than luck. And of course, at times it could be that you have exercised a wrong judgment. That's why you missed it. Right? Thank you everyone for watching once again, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.